Picture this. It's March 2020. You walk into your local grocery store, cart in hand, and stop dead in your tracks. The shelves, the ones that are usually overflowing with food, are completely bare. No bread, no pasta, no canned goods, nothing. Just empty metal racks stretching all the way down the aisle, and a quiet, creeping panic settling into the chest of everyone around you. That image shook millions of people, not because of what it was, but because of what it revealed, that most of us, despite living in the most food-abundant society in human history, were one bad week away from having nothing to eat. But here's what's interesting. While some people were scrambling, desperately grabbing whatever was left, there were others who weren't worried at all. They went home, opened their pantry doors, and saw exactly what they needed: months worth of food. Organized, nutritious, and ready. No panic, no problem. So what did they know that most people didn't? That's exactly what this video is going to show you. Today, you're going to discover the 15 best canned foods to stockpile for any emergency, whether that's a natural disaster, an economic collapse, a supply chain breakdown, or anything else life decides to throw at you. And we're not just talking about survival calories here. We're talking about real nutrition, long shelf lives, foods that keep your body strong, your mind sharp, and your morale intact when everything outside feels uncertain. We're also going to reveal the single most overlooked can on this entire list, one that most preppers completely ignore, but that could end up being one of the most valuable things in your entire pantry. Stay with us until the end, because every single item on this list matters, and the way they work together is just as important as the individual cans themselves. Welcome to Crisis Horizon, the channel built for people who believe that being prepared isn't paranoia, it's wisdom. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button and make sure you like this video. It genuinely helps us reach more people who need this information. Now, let's get into it. Let's start with the most important category of all: protein. When a crisis hits and fresh meat disappears from store shelves within hours, your body still needs protein to function. It maintains your muscle mass, keeps your immune system running, fuels your brain, and helps you manage the physical demands of an emergency situation. Without enough of it, you become weak, foggy, and vulnerable. So the first group of canned foods we're talking about are the ones that make sure that never happens. And we're starting at the very top of the list with a can that most people walk right past in the grocery store without giving it a second thought: canned sardines. Now, before you scroll away, hear this out, because sardines might genuinely be the single most perfect emergency food in existence. No exaggeration. In one small tin, you're getting high-quality protein, an enormous dose of omega-3 fatty acids, vitamin D, vitamin B12, selenium, and calcium, all from those tiny, soft, edible bones. Think about what that combination actually means in a crisis. Omega-3s keep your brain functioning under stress and reduce the inflammation that builds up when your body is pushed hard. Vitamin D becomes critical when you're sheltering indoors and not getting sunlight. B12 keeps your nervous system healthy and your energy from crashing. And calcium from the bones does the job that dairy would normally do, keeping your skeletal structure strong. Sardines also have a shelf life of 3 to 5 years, and some tins have been found perfectly good well beyond that when stored in cool, dark conditions. They can be eaten straight from the can, mashed onto crackers, stirred into rice or pasta, or blended into spreads. Their strong, savory flavor, which some people find off-putting at first, becomes a genuine asset when everything else in your pantry starts tasting bland and repetitive. A single tin can transform a plain bowl of rice into something that actually feels like a meal. The recommendation here is to stock between 24 and 48 tins. That might sound like a lot until you realize how much nutritional work each one is doing. Moving along the protein shelf, we come to two classics that almost everyone already knows: canned tuna and canned salmon. These are pantry staples for good reason. Tuna is affordable, widely available, rich in protein, omega-3s, vitamin D, and selenium. It has a shelf life of 3 to 5 years, longer if kept in a cool environment, and it works in everything from salads to pasta to wraps to rice bowls. Water-packed tuna is leaner and lighter. Oil-packed is more calorie-dense, and in a situation where you're burning through energy, that extra fat content might actually be exactly what you need. One important note on tuna, and this is worth paying attention to: mercury content is a real consideration, especially with albacore. Chunk light tuna generally carries lower mercury levels than albacore, so rotating between the two and not making tuna your only protein source is the smart move. That's exactly where canned salmon steps in, and in many ways, salmon actually outperforms tuna in a survival scenario. It has a higher omega-3 content, lower mercury levels, and provides EPA and DHA, the specific fatty acids that directly support heart health and cognitive.
When canned with bones, which most varieties are, it also delivers a meaningful dose of calcium. Salmon is slightly more expensive than tuna, but the nutritional return justifies the investment. Use it for salmon patties, mix it into salads, serve it over rice, or eat it straight with whatever seasoning you have on hand. Stock 12 to 18 cans and rotate regularly. Now, canned chicken. This one doesn't get nearly enough credit. Open a can of chicken and you're looking at 40 to 50 grams of high-quality protein with all essential amino acids, no cooking required, and a shelf life of 3 to 5 years. It comes in white meat and dark meat varieties, giving you some flavor flexibility, and it might just be the most versatile protein on this entire list. Toss it into soups, mix it with rice, build a wrap, fold it into pasta, add it to a salad. The mild flavor means it absorbs whatever spices and seasonings you pair it with, which is exactly what you want when you're trying to keep meals interesting over an extended period. For a 3-month supply for one person, aim for at least 24 cans. Stock more if you can. And then there are the two old-school survivors that have been fueling people through hard times for generations: Spam and canned corned beef hash. These are the cans that get mocked in good times and celebrated in bad ones. Spam is essentially cooked pork shoulder and ham, and a single can delivers around 1,080 calories and 42 grams of protein. Yes, it's processed. Yes, it's salty, but those qualities, which make it less appealing as a regular food, are actually advantages in a crisis. The high sodium content helps maintain electrolyte balance when you're physically active and sweating. The high fat and calorie density means a small amount goes a long way, and the shelf life, effectively indefinite when stored properly. Slice it and fry it for breakfast, cube it into stews, chop it into fried rice, eat it cold straight from the can. The people who keep 10 to 20 cans of Spam in their pantry are making a very rational decision. Corned beef hash takes a different angle. It's less of a protein concentrate and more of a complete meal in a can. Beef, potatoes, seasoning, all blended together into roughly 400 to 500 calories per can with a solid spread of protein, carbs, and fats. Heat it for breakfast, mix it with canned vegetables, fold it into a tortilla, or eat it cold if you have to. It's simple, satisfying, and filling. Stock 15 to 20 cans. Protein keeps you alive, but what keeps you going, what keeps your energy stable, your gut healthy, your mind from spiraling, and your body feeling like it can handle whatever the next day brings, is this second category. These are the calorie foundations and comfort foods, and in an emergency, comfort is not a luxury, it is a survival tool. Let's start with the most important single ingredient in any long-term emergency pantry: canned beans. Black beans, pinto beans, kidney beans, navy beans, chickpeas. Stock all of them. Each can delivers around 400 calories, roughly 25 grams of plant-based protein, and a significant load of complex carbohydrates and dietary fiber. That fiber matters enormously in a crisis because stress, dietary changes, and limited movement all destroy gut health fast. Beans help maintain digestive regularity, stabilize blood sugar, and keep energy levels from spiking and crashing. And when you combine beans with rice, which you should also be stocking separately, you create a complete protein. Every essential amino acid covered from two of the cheapest and most shelf-stable foods on Earth. The recommendation for beans is 50 to 100 cans across multiple varieties. That is not excessive, that is strategic. Variety here isn't just about nutrition, it's about keeping meals from becoming a punishment. From beans, we move to two of the most satisfying cans you can stock: canned chili and canned stew. Canned chili is a nutritional powerhouse and a morale powerhouse at the same time. A single can typically brings in 400 to 600 calories, combining meat and beans for a double hit of protein, tomatoes for vitamins, and spices that make the whole thing taste like a real meal rather than emergency rations. Pour it over rice, mix it into pasta for a quick chili mac, top a baked potato, eat it straight from the can, warmed over whatever heat source you have available. Stock a variety of brands and heat levels to keep things interesting. Canned beef stew operates on a similar principle, but hits a different psychological note. There's something about a bowl of hot stew, meat, potatoes, carrots, thick gravy, that communicates safety and warmth in a way that transcends just the calories it's providing. That matters. Mental health in a prolonged emergency is not a secondary concern, it is primary. People who feel fed, warm, and comforted make better decisions, maintain better relationships, and hold up under pressure longer than people who feel like they're just surviving on rations. Keep as many varieties of canned stew as your storage allows, and use them deliberately when morale needs.
Now let's talk about canned soup, and specifically why it deserves far more space in your emergency pantry than most people give it. Soup is unique among emergency foods because it does something no other canned food does quite as effectively. It hydrates you while it feeds you. In a crisis scenario, dehydration is a genuine threat, and it sneaks up on people. When stress is high, routines are broken, and you're focused on problems rather than habits, drinking enough water falls by the wayside. Soup bridges that gap. It delivers fluid, electrolytes, and nutrition in a single warm serving. It's also gentle on a stressed or unsettled stomach, which matters because anxiety and dietary changes frequently cause digestive distress. And from a pure comfort standpoint, few things feel more universally soothing than a warm bowl of soup. Stock condensed varieties where possible. They're more space efficient and have longer shelf lives, aimed for 30 to 50 cans across as many different flavors and types as you can find. Tomato, chicken noodle, minestrone, lentil, clam chowder. Variety is critical here because soup fatigue sets in fast when every bowl tastes the same. And then there's one more item in this category that quietly fills one of the most important nutritional gaps in any emergency pantry: canned evaporated milk. When fresh dairy disappears, and it will be among the first things gone in any serious disruption, the consequences are felt most sharply by the people who need calcium and vitamin D most: children who are still developing bone density, pregnant women, older adults who are already at risk for calcium deficiency. Evaporated milk steps directly into that gap. It's concentrated, so the calcium and protein content per serving is high. It provides vitamin D and healthy fats, and it's extraordinarily versatile. Dilute it with water for drinking. Use it undiluted in coffee or tea for richness. Add it to soups and stews for creaminess. Bake with it. Pour it over oatmeal. Sweetened condensed milk is also worth stocking for the additional calorie density alone. Shelf life runs from 1 to 2 years unopened. Keep 12 to 24 cans and rotate them regularly. Everything covered so far keeps you fueled and functional, but this final group of canned foods is what keeps you truly healthy over an extended period. These are the cans that prevent nutritional deficiencies, rescue your meals from monotony, support your immune system, and protect both your body and your mind when a crisis stretches from days into weeks or months. Start with canned tomatoes and stock them in every form available. Diced, crushed, whole, paste, sauce, each form serves a slightly different purpose in the kitchen, and together they become the single most versatile ingredient in your emergency pantry. Here's something worth knowing about tomatoes and canning specifically. Lycopene, the powerful antioxidant compound found in tomatoes, actually becomes more bioavailable after the canning process, meaning your body absorbs more of it from a canned tomato than from a fresh one. Add to that a solid load of vitamin C, vitamin A, and potassium, and you have a can that's working hard on your immune system every time you open it.
Tomatoes also bring acid to any dish they touch, which is enormously important when you're working with pantry staples that tend toward blandness. A can of crushed tomatoes turns plain beans and rice into something resembling a real recipe. Tomato paste concentrates flavor in a way that makes soups and stews taste like they've been cooking for hours. Aim for 40 to 60 cans across all forms. Next, canned vegetables. Green beans, corn, peas, carrots, mixed vegetables, spinach. When fresh produce is no longer an option, these cans become your primary defense against vitamin and mineral deficiency. They don't have the same nutritional profile as fresh vegetables, but they're far better than nothing, and in a prolonged emergency, far better than nothing is exactly the point. Add them to soups and stews to increase nutritional value and volume. Serve them as sides. Mix them into rice or pasta dishes. The psychological impact of eating something that resembles a normal, balanced meal with actual vegetables on the plate should not be underestimated. It signals normalcy to your brain at a time when very little else does. Stock 30 to 50 cans across different types. Then there's canned fruit, and here's where the conversation shifts slightly, because canned fruit isn't primarily about vitamins, though it does provide meaningful amounts of vitamin C and quick-burning natural sugars for immediate energy. It's about morale. It's about sweetness and familiarity at a moment when everything feels hard and heavy. Peaches, pears, pineapple, mandarin oranges, these are the foods that break the monotony, reward the senses, and give people something to look forward to in a meal. In psychology, that matters enormously. People who have something pleasurable to anticipate, even something as small as a bowl of canned peaches after dinner, maintain emotional stability and motivation better than people who don't. Choose fruit packed in juice rather than syrup for better nutrition, and keep a variety on hand. It will matter more than you expect. Now, the most underrated can on this entire list, the one that most people, even experienced preppers, completely overlook. Canned pumpkin.
Pure canned pumpkin, not pumpkin pie filling. Pure pumpkin is one of the most nutritionally dense and versatile foods you can put in an emergency pantry, and almost nobody stocks it. A single can delivers a massive dose of vitamin A, which is critical for immune function, vision health, and skin integrity, all things that start to degrade when stress is high and diet is limited. It's loaded with fiber, which supports the digestive health that beans alone can't fully cover, and it has a natural sweetness that works in both savory and sweet applications. Stir it into oatmeal, add it to soup for body and flavor. Mix it with spices and water for a simple pumpkin soup that feels luxurious despite requiring almost nothing. Blend it into a sauce for pasta. Use it as a thickener for stews. Its shelf life runs 3 to 5 years, and a stock of 12 or more cans gives you a nutritional and culinary tool that will quietly outperform almost everything else in your pantry. So, here's the full picture. 15 canned foods, each one chosen not just for calories, but for what it actually does for your body, your mind, and your ability to function under pressure. The protein foundations, sardines, tuna, salmon, chicken, Spam, and corned beef hash keep your muscles intact and your energy stable. The calorie and comfort layer, beans, chili, stew, soup, and evaporated milk sustain you through the long days and protect the mental health that makes everything else possible. And the nutritional insurance group, tomatoes, vegetables, fruit, and pumpkin, fills the gaps that everything else leaves behind, keeps your immune system working, and prevents the slow physical and psychological decline that comes from a diet that's calorie sufficient but nutrient poor. The strategy isn't complicated. Buy in variety. Taste before you commit to bulk. Rotate by expiration date so nothing goes to waste. Store everything cool and dark. And plan for your specific household. Children need more calcium. Anyone sheltering indoors needs vitamin D sources. Everyone benefits from fiber and sweetness and the occasional meal that feels like home. Preparation isn't about fear, it's about freedom. When you know that your pantry can carry your family through whatever comes next, the world feels less uncertain. And that peace of mind, that's worth every single can. If this video helped you, hit the like button. It genuinely helps this channel reach more people who need to hear this. Subscribe to Crisis Horizon for more preparedness content built around real information and practical action. And share this with someone who you think needs to start building their pantry. Because the best time to prepare was yesterday. The second best time is right now.